Hello students, we are here looking at Unit 7. This is English 1. English 1, Unit 7, this is page 56. And what we're going to do is, this is a bingo game, which is fun for you to play. And we're going to ask the question, what do you do for fun? Listen and repeat. What do you do for fun? I watch movies. One more time. What do you do for fun? I watch movies. Now what you're going to do is you're going to talk about the things here. I'm going to make up a sentence. You can make up your own sentence. You're going to use the word. Let's start with swim. I like to swim on Saturdays. Listen and repeat. I like to swim on Saturdays. Okay, let's look at number 2, which is jog. I never jog on weekends. I never jog on weekends. So you can say I like to jog or I don't like to jog. Okay, let's look at our question again. What do you do for fun? Okay, I jog. I like to jog. Let's look at number 1 again. I swim. I like to swim. Number 3, what do you like to do for fun? I take pictures. I like to take pictures. Number 4. I cook. I like to cook. I play computer games. I like to play computer games. I watch movies. I like to watch movies. I go shopping. I like to go shopping. I read books. I like to read books. I listen to music. I like to listen to music. I meet friends. I like to meet friends. I play billiards. I like to play billiards. I go to the gym. I like to go to the gym. Okay. Let's take a look here. Grammar review, page 59A. So we're working on page 59 now. The reason why we're doing that is it's very important that you study your grammar review page in order to pass your test. It's very important to do your grammar review page in order to pass your test. Okay, we're going to fill in the blanks using do or does. Where does Andy live? Listen, repeat, and write the correct answer. Where does Andy live? What kind of books do you like? What kind of books do you like? What time does your boss arrive? What time does your boss arrive? Do they walk home every day? Do they walk home every day? When does the movie start? When does the movie start? Does your brother visit you often? Does your brother visit you often? Okay, one more time. Where does Andy live? What kind of books do you like? What time does your boss arrive? When do they walk home every day? When does the movie start? Does your brother visit you often? Grammar Review 59B. Write a question to match the underlined part of the sentence. Kristen lives in Chicago. So think about the question. Does Kristen live in Chicago? Does Kristen live in Chicago? Okay. She goes to work by subway. She goes to work by subway. Question is, does she go to work by subway? Does she go to work by subway? Number 3. I will visit my parents on Sunday. Just repeat, I will visit my parents on Sunday. Okay, the question is, do you visit your parents on Sunday? Do you visit your parents on Sunday? Next one. He leaves early because the traffic is bad. He leaves early because the traffic is bad. The traffic is a number of cars on the street. Bad traffic means there is a lot of traffic, so you go home more slowly or to work more slowly. The question would be, does he leave early because the traffic is bad? Next one is the plane leaves at 7:45 p.m. When does the plane leave? When does the plane leave? Stuart plays the piano. What does Stuart play? What does Stuart play? I know Jack Allen. I know Jack Allen. The question is, who do you know? Or who do you know? Who do you know? Let's take a look. Kristen lives, the question is, where does Kristen live? She lives in Chicago. How does she go to work? She goes to work by subway. When do you visit your parents? I visit my parents on Sunday. Why does he leave early? Why does he leave early? He leaves early because the traffic is bad. He leaves early because the traffic is bad. When does the plane leave? When does the plane leave? The plane leaves at 7:45 a.m. The plane leaves at 7:45 a.m. What does Stuart play? What does Stuart play? Stuart plays the piano. Stuart plays the piano. Who do you know? Who do you know? I know Jack Allen. I know Jack Allen. Okay, the next one is fill in the blank with an A or an and. Fill in the blank with an A or an and. Now remember, you use A when there is a consonant for the first letter of the first word, and you use an, A-N, if there is a vowel for the first word. Put me on pause and fill in the blanks. Put me on pause and fill in the blanks. Okay, did you get all of those correct? Let's find out. Listen and repeat. A bus stop. A bus stop. A photographer. A photographer. An athlete. An athlete. An apartment. An apartment. A building. A building. An hour. An hour. A street. A street. A NBA player. A NBA player. A clock. A clock. A word. A word. Now this technically should be an university, but some people say a university. Should be an university, because it sounds like YU university. A year. A year. Okay, as you can see on this, I put a parentheses around university. Technically, it's supposed to be an university, but most people make it sound like a, because U kind of has an N sound. So if you technically on the test write an university, but it sounds like a university, okay, or a university. When you say a, you can say a or a. Both sounds are correct. I repeat, both sounds are correct. Answer the questions with your own information. This means that you have to use your information, not my information. I don't know what you should do. I don't know your answer. So what do you do? What do you do? Now that could be anything, okay? I do my homework. That's a good answer for that one. That's things you can do. Or you can say, I take pictures, or whatever you want. What time do you wake up? Now, this is a very good question for your exam. You have to know this one. What time do you wake up? I wake up at 8 o'clock. I wake up at 9 o'clock. There are many times when you can wake up. Sorry about the cat. How do you get to school? Now, you get to school by something. I get to school by bus, by train, by taxi. You can also say on foot, which means you're walking. Okay? Another way to say is I go to school, I take a train, I take a bus, I take a taxi. What does your friend do in his or her free time? That's a good question. Free time is the time when you are not going to school or working or studying. Okay. So what does your friend do in his or her free time? Well, my friend studies. My friend takes pictures. My friend goes to the gym. Or you can say likes to. My friend likes to go to the gym. My friend likes to study. My friend likes to play video games. Either one is okay. Next question is, where do you live? Well, assume you're living in Busan, or that you will be when school starts again. Okay, so where do you live? I live in Busan. Or you can say I live in Korea. Or whatever it is correct for your situation. I live in. This is where you live right now. The reason why these questions are important is they might be on your writing test. You might be on your writing test. You need to know your answers to these questions. Okay, now then these questions are practice. They are not on the written test or the writing test or the speaking test. These are not on the writing or the speaking test, but they're great practice. Listening. Listen to the conversation and choose the correct answer. Where does Christine live? Let's read our questions first. So when you listen, you need to know where she lives. Where does Christine live? What does James do? How do Kyle and Ted get to work? What does Julie do for fun? So listen while thinking about these questions. Does Christine live with her parents? No, she lives downtown. Is her apartment close to work? Yes, she lives near her office. Okay, well, we know that she lives near her office now. So listen one more time, circle the correct answer. Does Christine live with her parents? No, she lives downtown. Is her apartment close to work? Yes, she lives near her office. So let's circle the correct answer. Where does Christine live? She lives downtown. She lives downtown. Okay, 2, what does James do? Listen. Is James still a university student? No, he graduated last fall. What does he do now? He's an office manager. An office manager runs the entire office. Okay. What does James do? Listen. Is James still a university student? No, he graduated last fall. What does he do now? He is an office manager. We circle the correct one. Let's look at our answers now. What does James do? Well, if you were listening carefully, you know he's A. He's an office manager. Number 3, think about the question. How do Kyle and Ted get to work? Now notice the 3 answers. By taxi, on foot. You need to know this for your test. On foot means you're walking, on foot. And C is by bus. So it's by taxi, by train, by bus, by subway. These are our by answers. Okay, listen. Kyle and Ted are always early. Do they take a taxi in the morning? No, they walk to work together. That makes sense. They're neighbors. That makes sense means this logically, this is correct. When you think about it, then it is easy to understand. When you think about it, it's easy to understand. So, once again, Kyle and Ted are always early. Did they take a taxi in the morning? No, they walk to work together. That makes sense. They're neighbors. How do Kyle and Ted get to work? How do Kyle and Ted get to work? Well, they go on foot. They walk to work together. They go on foot. Okay. Well, listen to the question first. What does Julie do for fun? What does Julie do for fun? She plays a lot of sports. Does she play tennis? She doesn't play tennis, but she plays badminton. Okay, listen one more time. What does Julie do for fun? She plays lots of sports. Does she play tennis? She doesn't play tennis, but she does play badminton. Okay, what does Julie do for fun? C, badminton. She plays badminton. Okay, now listen to the linked sound. If it starts with an S, does she, they kind of squish together. Listen and repeat. Where does she work? Sounds like does and she are squished together to almost make one word, okay? Where does she work? When does she start? What does she do? Now, next part. Where do you, kind of sounds like, yeah, where do you work? Where do you work? When do you start? What do you do? Listen and repeat one more time. Where do you work? When do you start? What do you do? Okay. Now we're going to go do they. Where do they work? When do they start? What do they do? Repeat one more time. Where do they work? When do they start? What do they do? Okay, good. Okay, reading and writing. Culture. Culture. These are all the things about a group of people. As you can see, the babies here are Korean. They are wearing Korean hanbok, which is part of Korean culture. People wear certain clothes, food, and other things when they are from a particular culture. It's what people eat, what people talk like, what they dress like. Okay. This is listen to it. Well, actually, let's read the questions first. Whenever you are looking at a paragraph like this, you need to look at the questions first so you know what the answers are as you're reading. Okay, so what does Bob Wilson do? What does he carry when he works? Does Bob work in an office? Why does he love his job? Okay, listen. This is Bob Wilson. He has a very good job. He travels all over the world. He learns about different cultures and ways of life, and he tries to show them through his photographs. He is a travel photographer for a magazine. His job is fun, but it is also hard. He wakes up early in the morning, and he works until late. Sometimes he goes to difficult places like high mountains or thick jungles. Also, he carries a lot of heavy camera equipment when he works. Bob loves his job because every day is different for him. He enjoys working in unusual, that's very different, unusual locations and meeting new people. His goal is to share the beauty of the world with readers of his magazine. Listen one more time. This is Bob Wilson. He has a very good job. He travels all over the world. He learns about different cultures and ways of life, and he tries to show them through his photographs. He is a travel photographer for a magazine. His job is fun, but it is also hard. He wakes up early in the morning and he works until late. Sometimes he goes to difficult places like high mountains or thick jungles. Also, he carries a lot of heavy camera equipment when he works. Bob loves his job because every day is different for him. He enjoys working in unusual locations and meeting new people. His goal is to share the beauty of the world with readers of his magazine. Okay, what does Bob Wilson do? Well, you can see that from the picture. Bob Wilson is a photographer. He is a photographer. What does he carry when he works? He carries heavy equipment. Does Bob work in an office? No, he doesn't. Why does he love his job? He enjoys working on unusual locations and meeting new people. Okay. Let's look at our answers. What does Bob Wilson do? He is a travel photographer for a magazine. What does he carry when he works? Bob carries a lot of heavy camera equipment. Does Bob work in an office? No, he doesn't. Why does he love his job? Bob loves his job because every day is different. Okay, write down the correct answers. Okay, once again, we come to the end of our lesson. Great job, people. For our next lesson, we will be starting Unit 8. When you review for your exam, especially study the, up here, study your grammar focus. Be sure you understand. Be sure you understand your WH questions. Answer positive, answer negative. Be sure you understand everything on this page and look up any words you don't understand. Be sure you can make your own sentence. Okay, be sure you can answer these questions. These questions might be on your writing test. Know your answer. Okay, all right, so know how to talk about a job and where someone works. Know about what people do at what time. You may be asked a question on your test like, when do you eat breakfast? When do you leave for school? These are questions you might be asked on your test. Know how to answer, how to talk about these times, and know your various jobs. Know your jobs. Okay, know the activities. So you're going to be asked like, I like to. Okay, what do you do for fun? What do you like to do? What do you do for fun? That may be a question on your writing test. Okay, so be sure you understand all of those. Be sure you understand when you use a or and. University is a weird one. When you write on the test, write and. Okay, and be sure you know how to do all of that. All right, great job, everyone. Have a wonderful day. I'll be talking with you about Unit 8 later on.